During the Gulf War in January 1991, 6 aging but robust Blackburn Buccaneers, originally intended as low-flying nuclear bombers during the Cold War, were unexpectedly deployed.
I'm sitting inside the Blackburn Buccaneer. Now this is a 1950s design jet bomber.
Vice Admiral Evans, Flag Officer Aircraft Carriers. On the program, the first ever deck landing trials of the NA-39 Blackburn bomber.
Despite initial hesitance, these aircraft, refitted with advanced laser tech, joined forces with Panavia Tornados to introduce a new combat strategy, having just 72 hours to prepare for action.
When this was originally designed during the Cold War, its main role would have been out over the plains of Germany had the Russians attacked.
This marked a sudden shift from the intended use of these planes in a different era to a frontline role in modern warfare. You are watching Combat. Consider subscribing to watch regular episodes. The old Blackburn Buccaneers, which people thought were no longer useful, have made a surprising comeback. You have a special chance to bring back to life a famous plane, the Spitfire Mk1A X4009. This amazing plane, flown by the brave Pat Hughes, flew during the Battle of Britain, winning 17 times and making its pilot Australia's top ace. Also, the plane has been found and is waiting to be fixed, and you can help with that. REC Watches has made the X4009 collection, which has 3 different watches made from the real metal of the Spitfire Mk1A X4009. Each watch has marks that show it's from a long time ago. These watches honor the ones worn by brave World War II pilots.
We're standing next to a Mark I Spitfire. A very clever designer that some of you may have heard of, a gentleman called Reginald Mitchell.
If you get one of these watches, you won't just have history on your wrist, but will also help fix the old plane. A brave contender emerges. In the early 1950s, the Soviet Navy wanted more ships, which made the British Navy worried. They needed a special airplane to fight against the Soviet ships. This airplane had to fly low, be fast, and drop a nuclear bomb using a special method. So, in June 1952, the British Navy made rules for this plane called Naval Staff Requirement Number 39, NA-39. They wanted a 2-person plane for their carriers that could carry a nuclear bomb inside, fly at a certain speed and altitude, and cover a long distance in battle.
Jim, what's the latest on those unidentified aircraft?
We have positive information that they are Soviets.
The plane also needed specific equipment like radar and the ability to carry a certain weight of weapons. Many British companies designed planes, but 3 were finalists: Armstrong Whitworth, Shorts, and Blackburn. Blackburn, not known for making warplanes, surprised everyone with their design. This design by the Blackburn Aircraft Company became the Buccaneer. Special qualities. The Buccaneer was a strong and fast plane made to fly low and attack from aircraft carriers. It could fly well over both land and sea at low altitudes. Although practical, it looked sleek with a thin middle and wide wings. Its wings were swept back a bit, and its tail was high, making it look like a T. To help it fly smoothly at low altitudes, engineers used a special system that stopped ice from forming on the flaps and tail. The Buccaneer's body was designed to reduce drag, combining the wings with 2 jet engines.
This meant a fairly sizable aircraft. The carriers weren't all that big, not by American standards anyway.
It could hold 2 people and had a radar in the front. The plane even had air brakes at the back that also helped it slow down. The body was made to store lots of things but still fit on carrier elevators. Its wings could fold up and its nose could move to make it shorter. Even the tail could open up to help it slow down and become shorter. These features facilitated convenient carriage and storage on aircraft carriers. The Buccaneer's wings featured 2 pylons on each side, allowing for the transport of various equipment or weapons. Moreover, the aircraft was equipped with a revolving bomb bay door, as opposed to a standard one. This swift rotating door reduced air resistance, simplifying the process of releasing weapons and streamlining the loading and maintenance procedures. Furthermore, the bomb bay had additional room for supplementary equipment, such as a reconnaissance camera pallet. A type by Hawker Siddeley. In July 1955, the British Admiralty opted for the B-103 design out of 3 choices. They sought something not too traditional or too daring. The Armstrong Whitworth AW-168 was too traditional and would become outdated quickly. The Shorts PD-13 was too daring, despite its advancements. The Blackburn B-103 struck the right balance and got chosen. The Admiralty ordered 20 Development Batch (DB) aircraft to speed up the process and avoid delays. They aimed to work on different subsystems simultaneously. The development of the B-103 was kept confidential. The prototype, named the Blackburn NA-39, took its maiden flight in April 1958. 2 years later, Blackburn merged with Hawker Siddeley Aviation. Following the merger, the company restructured as the Hawker Blackburn division, and all products were labeled as Hawker Siddeley types. Later prototypes included features for operational aircraft. Carrier trials began in early 1960, but faced delays. The initial version was named the Strike Mark I S1, and by the end of 1961, all 20 DB aircraft had completed flights. Despite a few accidents, the flight test program progressed well, and the first Buccaneers were delivered to the Royal Navy in August 1961. The 801 Squadron became the first operational Buccaneer unit in July 1962, starting missions in 1963.
It has a fighter squadron on board, and it has an anti-submarine helicopter squadron.
The Buccaneers flew from different naval air stations, but Lossiemouth in Scotland was closely connected with these planes. Initially, Blackburn kept the 20 DB planes for testing and development, but some were later adjusted and given to the Royal Navy to use. Major variation. The design was altered to fit a more powerful Rolls-Royce Spey engine, important for taking off from aircraft carriers. This updated model was named the HS Buccaneer Strike Mark II, and you can easily spot it by its large oval-shaped engine air intakes. Apart from its regular weapon abilities, the Buccaneer gained a significant upgrade when it got permission to carry nuclear weapons in 1965. This change allowed the aircraft to transport and release Redbeard and WE-177 freefall bombs. These powerful weapons were kept inside a rotating bomb bay door. Also, another version called the Strike Mark 50 was made for the South African Air Force. Unlike the Royal Navy versions, these planes didn't have wings that could fold. 16 of these planes were sold with Bristol Siddeley BS-605 rocket-assisted engines. This version was specially designed for operations in tough airfields with high temperatures and altitudes. However, the rockets were rarely used and were eventually removed. Throughout its operational history, the Buccaneer regularly conducted patrols and training exercises in the North Sea in anticipation of potential conflict with the Soviet Union. An important achievement came with the enhanced S-2 model, which gained the distinction of being the first aircraft authorized by the Federal Aviation Administration to cross the Atlantic Ocean without the need for stopping or refueling. In 1967, Buccaneers from Lossiemouth were involved in a mission to bomb the stranded supertanker Torrey Canyon near Cornwall, igniting the oil to avert an environmental disaster. By 1972, the 809 Naval Air Squadron's Buccaneers, based on the aircraft carrier Ark Royal, undertook a 1,500-mile mission to demonstrate a military presence over British Honduras, now Belize, just before its independence. This move aimed to dissuade a potential invasion by Guatemala, which laid claim to the region. For the Royal Air Force in 1983, 6 Buccaneer S-2s were sent to Cyprus to support British peacekeeping efforts in Lebanon under Operation Pulsator. 2 of these aircraft flew over Beirut as a show of force to intimidate insurgents without engaging in direct conflict. Post-1983, the responsibility for ground strikes transitioned mainly to the newly introduced Tornado aircraft, and 2 Buccaneer squadrons were redirected to maritime strike roles. During their RAF tenure, Buccaneers were fitted with Paveway laser gear, showcasing their skills in the 1991 First Gulf War. 6 deployed from Lossiemouth on January 26, 1991, often teaming with 4 Tornadoes in attack formations. Equipped with laser pods, these Buccaneers backed each other up if their gear failed. Their combat debut was on February 2, targeting the Asuwaira Road Bridge. Destroying about 20 bridges disrupted Iraqi army movement. As coalition forces advanced, Buccaneers focused on airfield strikes, making precise attacks guided by Tornadoes. This marked the only combat deployment of British Buccaneers, taking down 2 Iraqi aircraft on the ground. In 218 missions, they designated targets and dropped 48 laser-guided bombs. A total of 144 Buccaneers were made in various versions. Originally meant to fly until the late 1990s, the Buccaneers' retirement came earlier due to the Royal Naval Service's carrier retirement. 62 S-2 planes moved to the RAF, and 49 new S Mark IIB planes were introduced, equipped with enhancements like higher weight capacity and larger weapons bay. The Buccaneer stopped nuclear duties in 1991. A single squadron carried on until shutting down in March 1994. We hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and also hit the notification bell icon.